I mean, okay, if we did it based on how good the card would be overall, this would just be number one. Like, this is just A tier. This is the only A tier card. If we do it based on how good the card would be in a vacuum, then we're vacuuming up Uxie all day. Like, it stays in the vacuum. Move to Nebraska. Does it not get hot there? It's probably cheaper to live there than California too. I'm sold. Less hot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Uxie would be the only like S tier card. The supporter finders, one of the supporter finders might match it up in A tier, like Lele might. I guess you have like Lapras, that's like only worth one prize card. By being super squishy, and squishy was a bad thing. Yeah, but like if you could play it in current format, it would be insane. I mean, you'd also have Scoop of that. So it has to be based on, it definitely has to be based on like their current or the era they were played in. Okay, so we'll just start one at a time. Claydol for its time. A. Eek Cleffa for its time. I didn't play back then, so I don't know if I can rank this Cleffa. But it's weird because this card was like, you basically had to play, right? Like Cleffa was a mandatory card to play. So it makes me want to put it in like C, because like Claydol wasn't mandatory, but it was super powerful. Because if you always have to play 4 of it, if you have to play 4 of this, it's not that good then. It is, but it's like nullifies its potential impact on a game compared to like deck building of what you should include in your deck and what your opponent includes in their deck, because you have to play it. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is like it's like not that, what's it called? Does it mandatory mean it's broken? But is it broken if it's mandatory though? You know what I'm saying? Like if every deck had to play it, I guess that does kind of make it broken kind of in a way. But to me, it kind of makes it not broken. You know what I'm saying? Like it means it's just like, oh, it's like literally if you like started making your Pokemon deck, you had to include 4 of a card. It doesn't matter if that card was broken or not. You just have to play them. Like, I guess in this situation, like, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is exactly what broken is. Yeah, maybe that is exactly what broken is. So then maybe this is actually B tier. Eat Cleffa. This card was like a 1 of, and you didn't really want to put it in play. Maybe C for now. Uxie A. Airmail. Actually, Airmail might be F tier. It's like not that good. Yeah, maybe you guys are right. You guys are maybe right. Like, Airmail is just not good. It was obviously good in Pidgey Control, but that's different. Uxie was on Claydol's level? No, Uxie was like, you played Uxie in every single deck. You didn't not play Uxie. Actually, no, you almost played Uxie in everything, right? Uxie was like played in maybe not quite every deck, but we don't have to make it an every deck thing. Pidgeyblounce was cool, but I'm pretty sure this as a support Pokemon is F tier. This guy also, I mean, Quick Search was literally played in everything, but there was decks built around countering Quick Search as a card to completely nullify Quick Search that were like viable in the format. So that makes me think instead of A, Quick Search should be B. But I think this is where I'm gonna get a lot of pushback from chat on this one, because I mean it's Pidgeotto or whatever. Is Oricorio GX here? I don't think so. It should be, to be honest. Oricorio GX should be in this list. I think we put the bird at number 2. Quick Search was still good. Well, yeah, but it's like playing. I don't know. I can't come up with a good example. People played Garb, but you still played ability Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? Because you had Tool Scrapper. You could have stadiums to bump the stadium that locked you out of Battle Frontier. Every good support mon. You gotta include all of them. Stellar Wish Jirachi. This thing might be I guess it's B. This thing was kind of ridiculous. It only wasn't played in Zoroark decks, basically, right? Or there's Greens decks, I guess. E. I think this thing goes to D. Oricorio GX was on the list. It'd probably be D or F. Jirachi's got to be A. I don't know. It wasn't like that good. It was good though. Other Jirachi, I think this one falls under B, into B as well. Stellar Wish or Stellar Guidance Jirachi. This card this is like a D tier. You never wanted to put this thing in play. Putting this thing in play was terrible. But it was like a mandatory play in quite a few decks because that just helped your consistency so much. Set up Shaman. It's probably B. Abyssal Hand Artillery is a C. Good engine card. Lele is probably A. It's good. It's an attacker. It gets your supporter, like, because it's such a good attacker. I think Lele has to be an A. This Lapras apparently was never played. I actually think I asked Puka about the Lapras once, and he said like going back, it definitely should be included in more, or it would be included in more decks if like decks were like remade in the format. But the Lapras just was literally in like no decks back then. I don't know what year that was, but we'll give it D tier because like back then it just wasn't played. Smooth Over is pretty solid. Maybe C. Yeah, Smooth Over at C. It's an old Smooth Over. It was really good in the Ludicolo deck, but I don't know about what other decks it was good in. Zoroark. Zoroark is like kind of like Lele, where it's like the support Pokemon, but it's also half your deck, if not more than half your deck. So I think Zoroark is A tier. Actually, I don't know though, but Zoroark wasn't like played in everything. So is Zoroark B tier then because of that? Actually, Zoroark might be a B tier Pokemon. B tier. It's weird because Zoroark is not just a support Pokemon. We're basing this off of them being a support Pokemon, because Zoroark was not only a support Pokemon in the decks it was in, it was also half your deck. But that's not what we're really basing it on, right? Instruct is a good C, I think. Let Loose. This card was insane. This card was insane at winning you games before the game even happened, but I don't know if that makes this card like more than a C tier card, because it wasn't like that powerful either. Same thing with this Let Loose. This Let Loose might even be worse at like D. It's not really a good support Pokemon. Like maybe even the Lapras should go to F, to be honest. Spiritomb. If this card's not A, it's definitely B for sure. That card was insane. I think A tier means a meta-defining card. I wouldn't count Uxie as a meta-defining card though, but I think Uxie is still A tier. Uxie was literally in every single deck. It was just like Uxie is such an insane support card. Also because you could collector 4 Uxie. So you could like collector, get 3 basic Pokemon, one of them being Uxie, and then Uxie for 7. Lapras and Pidgeotto saw some play. Giratina saw 0 play. Giratina didn't see 0 play. Giratina saw more play than Lapras and Pidgeotto, I'm almost sure. I played Giratina in a couple decks. You didn't play it in... I think Giratina was just better when it was played, though. Giratina was like better when it was played for sure. There was no decks. No, I saw 0. I like Giratina. Sableye, probably a C. It was good for what it did, and it made some decks viable. But it wasn't like that powerful. Like you didn't mind going second when your opponent forced themselves to go first because of the Sableye. This Metagross. This was only good in the Metagross deck though, so I'm just gonna put it as like a D. Like it's a Metagross card for a Metagross deck. Delcatty was pretty good in a couple decks, but I have no idea what decks it was good in. This is once again like where Guardia is like the support card plus the deck, but if we're counting it as just like a support, or I guess what it does for the deck as being a support Pokemon is pretty powerful. But it is only one deck, whereas Zoroark was like many decks. So I think I should put Guardian C, to be honest, because of that. Delcatty was B. The original Delcatty was insane. I've only seen ever one deck with Delcatty in it. Delcatty was almost in every deck in 04. Okay, we can put it at C. Premonition Gallade. D. Magnezone Prime, D. Empoleon Diving Draw. This was like this is so weird. As like this is all right. So this one should not be counted as a support Pokemon because this was just like a deck. That's why it's like weird to include stuff like Empoleon and Gardevoir because they're not engines. They are the deck. Zoroark I think is like an anomaly in that sense because it was the engine and you could build decks around it by being a different type of deck, but you still included Zoroark as like a main attacker plus the engine. So Gardevoir and Empoleon, to be honest, in my opinion, should not be on this list. I think Gardevoir and Empoleon and Magnezone should not be on this list. So I think because of that, I'm just going to give them all D rank. I think they just all go to D rank because they're all just support attackers. They're not there. Like, you don't create the, yeah, they're just like, make a new tier for those cards. Okay. True. How do I, oh, it's right here. Okay. It is literally just this part. Add a new row. How do I edit it? Oh, wait. Oh, no. Go down. Oh, I gotta do it like this. Okay. I don't know. What would I even call it? I would call it like, main attacks. Main attack is a deck. Is a deck. Not valid. Okay. I like that actually. Attack or main attacker. Main attacker. Okay, I like that, main attacker. Because these don't really count. Bad include by Mellow, yeah. This guy is pretty good. It wasn't like if this guy, if Azelf didn't exist, that wouldn't have been that big a deal. But it was a nice consistency boost to the format. Drizzy, yo, Drizzy, probably a C, right? Yo, there's no shot. Mellow, how do you have Shady Dealings Drizzile but not Shady Dealings Inteleon? What? They were an engine? Yeah, but they're not like Zoroark. Zoroark is an anomaly in that sense, I think. Where's Encino? Yeah, you missed Encino as well. Unknown is D. Crobat is a good C. Dedenne is B, if not A. Dedenne might be A. Dedenne is cracked. We'll put him there for now. Castform. Doesn't really count as like an engine, I don't think. This guy doesn't count, I don't think. It's also a bad include, I think. We have to do another tier here. I don't think this guy counts, to be honest. Talonflame, D, or maybe F tier. I think that is valid as like an engine. This card was pretty good, like a C. Portrait is really, really good. Portrait was insane. Did Portrait ever fall off, or was it just good until it rotated? When it first came out, it wasn't great, but I think it was underrated. And then it really picked up steam with rotation that year. If I remember correctly. It wasn't played after the midseason rotation, even though it was legal. No one played it after midseason rotation, but I think that was probably just people not realizing how good Portrait was. And then after that, it was really good. Maybe it's not B. No, it's probably a C tier card. Ninetales, D. Zebstrika, D. Dunny, B. That was played in everything. B-Barrel's in the same as Octillery. This thing should honestly be F. That thing sucks. Other Smooth Over. This was played in like very few decks. It was pretty good. D, I guess. And then Vulpix is not valid. That's not really an engine. I guess best support Pokemon, but it's not like not a, I don't know. It's like not a, it is, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? Did any decks like play a one of Vulpix? I guess Guardy played a one of Vulpix, right? A couple decks played a one of Vulpix, so this gets F. This guy's not the cast form's not a support Pokemon. It's an energy card that you can use Delta Draw in some decks, but some decks actually couldn't even draw cards with the cast form, but you still played it. Metagross needs to be moved to main attacker. You're right. Okay, let's review the list. Dunny is cracked, but it's not. I don't think it's A tier cracked, is it? Dunny's not. Is Dunny A tier cracked? All right, A tier we have Lele, Dedenne, Uxie, Cleffa, which I think makes sense. They're played in every single deck, pretty basically. Dedenne wasn't played in every single deck, but I don't know. Dedenne was disgusting. Like, remembering how good Dedenne was sickens me. I hate that card so much. I hate that rat. B tier, Claydol, Pidgeot, both Jirachis, Shaman. Zoroark is a little bit of an anomaly. Like I said, it is a main attacker. Support Pokemon, but I think Zoroark gets the pass here because of how much it was an engine that was like, it was prioritized as an engine to create decks, whereas Gardevoir is just Gardevoir and it has an engine built in. Empoleon's Empoleon and it has an engine built in. Magnezone Prime is Magnezone Prime and it has an engine built in, so those don't really count. Spiritomb, absolutely disgusting. Dunsparce, absolutely disgusting. Dunsparce could maybe get the A pass, but I don't know. If you wanted to win, you played it. What, Dedenne or Dunsparce? Dedenne was pretty disgusting, actually, like thinking about how good it was, thinking back to it. I think Claydol could maybe be an A. Yeah, Claydol could maybe make A, to be honest. C tier, just got like the good backup squad. This should probably go down to D, to be honest. Instructor's really good. Sableye was really good. Let Loose was ridiculous. You guys tell me the Delcatty was ridiculous. This card was really good, but this should maybe, no, this should be a C tier. This card was really, really good. Drizzy should probably be B tier. And then Shady Dealings and Teleon would join it if Mello had put Shady Dealings and Teleon in this tier list. For some reason, it's not here. Blame Mello. Gimmick Mimic is pretty good. Portrait was solid. Crobat was solid. And then down here at D, Eek, Jirachi, Let Loose, Premonition, this thing. Does Gallade even belong here as a support Pokemon? It was like a support. It's not a support Pokemon, though. It was used as an attacker. It's always used as an attacker primarily that just has Premonition. So actually, I think this ends up... It almost ends up in not valid. Because it's not something you can include it as a support Pokemon. I was like, oh, this thing attacks. Oh, it also has Premonition. Cool, I'll use Premonition as well, right? Like, you always played it. You would have played it if it didn't have Premonition. You know what I'm saying? Why include it? It and Drizz might as well be the same thing. That's fair, I guess. No, because Drizzy... No, I guess that is kind of fair, to be honest, Benlo. Maxie's engine. That's true. All right, because of Maxie's. Because of Maxie's, I'll give it F. Because of Maxie's, I'll give it F. So going through the C tier again, looks good. D tier looks good. F tier looks good. And then these ones, they're main attackers, so they don't really count. Like I kind of explained. And then this guy is not valid because it's not an engine. You do sometimes use it as an initial attacker. I guess maybe you could qualify this as an engine. I didn't play enough back then to actually... I didn't play enough of decks back then to actually know. So maybe I shouldn't have created a not valid for the cast form. Because like some decks you could draw cards. It's mainly this biggest use is using it as energy. But I guess some decks did use Delta Draw like turn 1 to just draw a bunch of cards with Delta Draw. So... But yeah, so maybe the cast form comes out of not valid and we delete not valid actually. And then it comes up to probably D tier. I'm just gonna give it D tier because I just don't have enough information on that era. All right, lock it in. Optimal support Pokemon tier list.